Hey class, how you doing? All right, so this is the teaching video for the song "In Christ Alone," and so I found a good version of this song with just piano and vocal, and I really liked it. Excuse me. And I was thinking, if you or I were the guitar player in this video instead of the pianist, how would we approach that song? And so that's kind of how I'm approaching teaching this song. And it's in 3/4, and so it's a little bit tricky playing in 3/4, especially when strumming. And this song presents a few challenges, so I think it's a really good one to work on. So I made a chart for this song, and I should have given you the link also. So you have the chart, link to the song just for reference, and this teaching video. And so for the assignment, I'd love for you to, play through the whole sheet. And so if you need to break that up into sections, or just play the whole thing down, that's fine too. But so the assignment will be to record yourself playing, the intro, section A, B, C, and D. And it's a lot of repeated stuff, but each section kind of has I put a different kind of strumming pattern to work on. So that's how we'll go about this. So again, if you need to simplify and do, just break it up into sections, so play section A, and then stop, and then go into section B, that kind of approach is okay. Or if you can do the whole thing in one pass, even better. So, all right, let's get started. All right, so get the chart out. It'd be helpful to print it, I think, so you can make notes. So I'll start just by playing through the song. I have it on my computer here, so I'm going to look in that direction. So it might look weird on the video, but that's okay. I have the metronome. The metronome's at 70 BPM if you need that for reference. One, two, go. Sorry if there's some background noise. I think like a police car drove by or something. But yeah, hopefully that gives you kind of an overview of the song. I'm going to fix something on the chart real quick. Good. All right, let's look at the individual sections now. I'm trying to look into the camera. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the intro. So the intro is 4 bars that repeat, and it's G minor, D minor, C, C sus, and then back to C. And so, especially for an intro, it's totally okay to kind of not do a true like strumming pattern, but to just play the rhythm. As opposed to something like that makes sense. So because it's going to start off nice and quiet, just 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2. Good. So that should be pretty straightforward. Again, so here's G minor, so I'm barring across fret 3. So our G minor chord. D minor. And if you hit that low A, that's okay also. Our trusty C major. C sus. And then back to C. Good. Alright. I'll do it with the metronome here, and you can practice along. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Good. So you might notice too that even though the rhythm is just quarter note, then a half note, quarter note, half note, I'm doing these little shallow strokes in between to kind of help me keep time. So that's really, really helpful. For example, so when I go to play beat 3, I'm kind of playing a little downstroke before beat 3. 1, 2, and 3. That helps me stay in time, right? 2, 1, 2, and 3. 2. Good. And then something else I want to note is when you're playing a song that has a lot of moving chords like this at specific times, on guitar it's really difficult to get connecting the chords. And so what you end up doing is right before you change chords, you just kind of strum the open strings. So it sounds like that right before you go to the D minor, right? And it in context it sounds just fine, but that allows you just enough time to switch from this chord to this chord. So good. I'll exaggerate it one more time just so you can kind of get the idea. So I'm overdoing it, right? You wouldn't want it to sound that way. You want to hide that as much as you can, but that's the way that it's going to sound more fluid, connecting chord to chord. So play an open string or the open strings right before or during transition from one chord to another. Okay, let's look at section A. So this is the verse, right? And it's the same kind of pattern as the intro, but now we're using the verse chords. So here I'll play it real quick. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So a couple things come to mind. First, let's just look at the chords themselves. So you've got in measure 1 and 2, C major, and then on beat 3 you have C over E. And so what you can do for that is when you get to that C over E chord, just hit the low E. You know, you don't have to hit the whole thing. The idea is you want to hear that note going to this G over B chord in measure 2. So it sounds like, if that makes sense. So don't worry about playing all the notes, just, and that's going to sound really nice. So here's G over B, chord in measure, the second measure of letter A. And again, here's this, our regular G chord. If you just lift your middle finger up, so that the B note is the lowest note. Be good. And then measure, the next two measures, you've got F, F over G, and then C. So let's look at that. So F chord is a hard one to play, so you can do the full bar chord like I'm doing, or you can do that, which I'm leaving off the low E, and the high E2 I'm not playing either. So if you were to do it that way, F, F over G, so I'm literally just picking up my ring finger and putting it on the note G, because you've got F triad over G. Good. So that whole line becomes this 1, 2, 3. Let me do that again. 1, 2, 3. Let me do it now with just the other way of doing F. 1, 2, 3. Messed it up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, good. All right, let's play it together now. I'll put the metronome on. There we go. And we'll do, so this would be letter A, all 8 bars of letter A because it's repeated material. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Good. All right, let's get to the next section here. Okay, so for letter B, we have new chords and a new strumming pattern. So you see on the sheet, we've got all quarter notes. So the idea here is now we're into the chorus and we want it to sound a little bit stronger. So one way that you can make the music kind of grow or you know, the dynamic increase is to play quarter notes. So before we're playing long notes, short notes, you know, half notes, quarter notes. Now we're just playing driving quarter notes, and that will make the arrangement sound more full, and that's what you kind of want for a chorus, right? So excuse the background noise here. So our chords are F to G, F2 over A to G over B. So this is really nice. You've got F to G, A, B. So the bass is just walking right up. You put chords on that. F, G, F2 over A, and to chord that we haven't come across yet is this F2 over A. Really, really nice chord. So we don't play the low E string. We have open A, F, open G, and C there. Now you have the option, you could play the open E there, that would be the major 7. It's also nice. You could also put the G on top. I kind of like that. Doubling that. That's the 2, right, of the F2 chord. I like that sound a lot. And it sets you up nicely to go to the G because your pinky's already there. Yeah, I like that. So let's try that. And again, for the driving eighth notes or quarter notes, notice I'm putting these little strums in between, right, to keep the time and just keep that driving feeling going. Yeah, here we go. One, two, three. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it a little bit slower without the metronome because it feels a little fast. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Good. And so after that line, it goes back to the rhythm of the verse. Good. All right, so let's look at the next section. This would be, next section coming up is verse 2. So it's the same material, same chords, but kind of a new strumming pattern to give it some musical interest. I find myself looking everywhere. Sorry, guys. All right, so for verse 2, like I mentioned, same chords, but we change up the strumming pattern a little bit to make it more interesting. So let me play it real quick. Actually, take a look at the paper. You notice, so you get a dotted eighth note, a 16th tied to a quarter note, and then another quarter note. That might sound really complicated, but it shouldn't be that bad. The tricky thing is just getting that second strum in. And so let me play it real quick. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the way that you get that second strum in there is to think about it as 4/16 notes, but you're just playing the first and the last. So if you think about 1 and 2 and you just leave out the middle 2, you actually do the motion of playing all 4, but you only strike the strings on the first and the last of that group of 4/16 notes. So again, becomes, and then you just need to aim for that beat 3. So. And the way I do it is, again, with these little strums in between. It just keeps me in time. So. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. All right, let's do it kind of nice and slow here together. Here we go. So this would be letter C, both lines. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. 1. Good. Speed it up a little bit with the metronome. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Good. Something else I just noticed too is for this kind of style of playing like more of a hymn type of feel with the strumming is you can almost just use your fingers. You know, you don't have to do this big wrist movement or arm movement to do the strumming. You can almost just use your fingers like you know, do the strumming all in this motion right here. Sorry, my computer turned off. So it's just kind of all right here. It's very, very small motion here. I find that's helpful to think about that. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. So small motion, very little wrist, a lot of motion in the thumb and index finger area. Cool. All right, and then the next section, letter D. All right, so this is the last section, letter D, and this is the chorus section again. And so now we have yet another strumming pattern. So you'll notice it's a quarter note, eighth note, 2 16th notes, and another quarter note. But kind of a better way to think about this is it's very much similar to letter B. Remember, letter B was all quarter notes, right? 1, 2, 3. So this is basically the same pattern, but we're adding an upstroke to make it even a little bit more powerful. So you'll remember section A, pretty mellow, right? Half note, quarter note, half note, quarter note. First chorus, we want to build it up dynamically, and the way we do that is playing driving quarter notes on every beat. And now if we want to raise it even more dynamically, because now it's the second chorus, we can add more upstrokes in between the quarter notes, and it's going to sound more interesting, more powerful. So here's how it sounds. 1, 2, 3. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, I want to mention, because it's really useful here, after you play beat 3, let that left hand go and play an open string right there as a way to transition to the next chord. That makes sense. I'm overdoing it, right? But that's really going to give it a cohesive sound, a legato sound, smooth transition chord to chord. All right, let's try it together here. 1, 2, 3. Good, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it with the metronome here a little faster. 1, 2, 3. There's our song ending. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Good. I hope that's helpful. Let me play through the whole thing just one more time. You can play along if you want. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good. Yeah, I think I had maybe one mistake in there, but yeah. So again, work on that. Work on it section by section, and email me, text me, call me if you have any questions. Thanks.